A very good afternoon and welcome at the final event of Cleantech Energy Crossing, a very ambitious project that will have its grand finale today after a duration of 4 years. My name is Jochem Garthoff. I work as a Program Manager Energy Transition at Kiemt, and I'll be hosting you through this live stream event from the Steck here in Doetinchem with several guests who have been closely involved in meeting the goals for this project, which were on one hand to strengthen the cross-border cooperation between Dutch and German companies, startups, scale-ups, and also knowledge institutes, and on the other hand to accelerate the development of clean tech, innovative products for a sustainable built environment. And in that sense, more than 30 companies, together with Knowledge Institute, have been working on cooling and heating applications for housing, batteries at home, and even smart grid storage concepts for a more collective approach of storage in neighborhoods, for example. Because let's not forget, almost 30% of the CO2 emission comes from the built environment, and that accounts for both countries. So we really need those technologies. And in order to do so, we have actually put all these technologies and the results of 4 years of Cleantech Energy Crossing in this recently published booklet. And of course, that's too much to cover in 1 hour. So this afternoon, we'll make a journey, so to speak, through one of the great developments. We look into the cooperation of participants, and we also are going to look into the importance of the Interreg program in order to facilitate projects like Cleantech Energy Crossing and keep you informed of the next steps. If you want to join us at home, you can do so via our website, kiemt.nl, via the chat. Questions will be answered there or appear live on the show. And questions that remain unanswered, no worries, you can look them up later after the show at our website. Okay, having said that, allow me to introduce us to our first 3 guests. We have today Rick Cateau, teacher and researcher at the Han University of Applied Sciences.
Indeed.
Welcome. Ben Wortman, project manager at Gas und Warme Institute in Essen. Welcome. You could almost say that not even a virus comes in between the cooperation we've been building on these couple of years. So, although virtually, welcome. And last but not least, Nando Klein-Gunnewijk, director and co-founder of Supro Cooling Benelux BV. Nando, if I may start with you, you've been working on the product, developing your product during the course of this this project. Can you explain something about your product?
Within the energy transition, heat is one of the primary energy sources. For building, it's interesting. Of the biggest energy consumption in the building is for heating the building, cooling the building, and make tap water of it. Heat tap water, and our technology makes it able to cool and heat your building with warmth as primary energy source. So therefore you can use little electrical energy and primary out of heat.
Okay. Yeah. And how did Cleantech Energy Crossing help you develop your product?
We have developed our product in this project. We have made system packages and prefab built skits, and those things are necessary for the installers to build it easily into homes or buildings, so they don't have to think about the system integration and that kind of stuff. We did that for them. Okay. So when they buy a package from Supro, they can install it easily and fast.
And during the course of the project, you also installed at a customer an installation? We
installed an installation by the building agency, a Dutch building agency, in Vliegveld-Valkenburg. That's a system that runs on 90 solar thermal collectors. Okay. They make the heat for primary energy for heating the building, and in the summer we are making cold out of it and we are cooling the building, and together we get some 80% of the energy that's needed for heating and cooling the building. Comes out of the sun.
All right. Yeah. And in the setup to monitor that system, GWI has been collaborating. Involved. You could say, has been involved. Ben, you had a very broad role in all the work packages, you could say, of Cleantech Energy Crossing. Can you tell us some about the activities you've been performing?
Yes, the GWI was involved in all the different parts of the product development and getting all the work packages ready. So it was very interesting for us to see all this development at an earlier level. Oftentimes we just get market-ready products, do standardized tests on them. But here we were able to be part of it at a much earlier stage and seeing how technology changes and being part of that was very interesting.
And in relation to Nando's project, were there specific challenges, you could say, in developing the monitoring for that product?
Well, every case is really individual, so we were looking at all the different aspects we have to take in account. But I think maybe not particularly for Nando's, but for all the different partners, it was always interesting to see how sometimes the focus shifts a little bit and you have to adjust to make everything work. So, and that's always very interesting, and sometimes we were able to sort of give a little advice on where to aim for and where the focus should be, so they could get a little closer to their goals. So it never really got boring, but luckily the communication between all the partners worked really well, so we could really be successful in our work.
And in that sense, you also work together with Han. Rick, can you tell us about what kind of activities you performed in this project?
Yes, together with WGI, Gas and Wärme Institute, we worked at the battery storage in a home, and we both worked in that work package on modeling, but we took a different approach.
Okay.
And in the end, we were also able to compare our results in that respect.
And in that sense, what did you find in maybe differences of?
Yeah, well, there were some similarities. There were also some differences. Always, if you start modeling on something, you start modeling and you find during your modeling work you learn new things. And one of the things we learned is that the program, the software that we used, could do certain things, but could also not do certain things. And so that led also a little bit to some different outcomes than Gas and Wärme Institute. But also similarities. So we were able to confirm our main findings, and it was we really learned a lot.
Okay, in that sense, you reached the limit of the modeling tool you used.
Yes. We used a software package that's used quite a lot in energy modeling, and we really pushed it to the limit here to what it could do. So. Yeah, in that sense, you also learn.
Yeah, I can imagine. And if you compare to the work of Gas and Wärme Institute, did it also give really different conclusions or insights?
No, the main conclusions I think were valid. Were still remaining. That is that if you look at current cost levels, then applying this type of storage isn't interesting yet. And quite a bit still has to change to really make it interesting. So that's one of the main findings.
Main findings, yeah. And in addition, Nando, to the product that you were developing, you also looked into a comparison tool, the IT tool, as we called it. Can you tell something about it?
Yeah, what we saw in the market is that end users don't. They want to see what they can do if they make their home sustainable or even energy neutral. And when you look at the internet or you look at the market at this moment, you don't see systems in one page. You can't compare them with each other. The market doesn't know what fits my home. So we developed a platform where all technologies are compared to each other, and you can fill in your home, the building year of your home, how many people are in the home, and then you get the technologies that are able to sustainable your home at that for your home. So that's new, and we developed the basic in this project.
the basic format of that
basic
comparison
format.
tool.
Yeah.
And what are the next steps you're thinking of now the basics is there?
The next step is that we fill in all details. So we developed a platform with all flex fields, and we can put in all the technology, but we need to make it better on the front side. So fill in the details and the content on the right way, so you can put it on the internet and it's easily to read and to look what can I do with it. And therefore we need to go into next step.
And any idea when customers can really start using it?
Right at this moment we are working on our new business plan. We need a certain amount of money to develop it to the end phase, and now we're looking at how can we do that, and what are the next steps, and how much money do we need, and the most important thing is we need partners to develop it to the right scale, and that's what we're looking for now at this moment.
For those new partners to join in.
Yeah, to join in.
Yeah. So maybe a call for action.
If you
for your concern,
if you are interested to develop, this platform as technology partner or ET partner, you can call us, and we're going.
Get in contact with you. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Ben, you had, as I mentioned before, a broad role in Cleantech Energy Crossing. What was the biggest challenge as far as you're concerned in doing so?
Well, I guess the challenge was that being in such an early stages of development, always new questions pop up, and you have to adjust your focus to handle them. So, and really trying to find out what all the partners need the most. Because that's what we saw as our role, helping the partners to get their products market ready. So sometimes we had to focus our attention a little bit on certain aspects, and sometimes we were able to pull other aspects into the focus. So like the work we did always kept changing a little, and we get always new nice results, new insights, and so it really never got boring.
Okay, and so it really stretched. You'd say the flexibility of needs you had to fill in, so to speak.
Yeah. Usually, like as I said before, many work we do with testing is just ready prototypes, so we don't get in at the early stages, and we're not able to help them with development as we did in Cleantech Energy Crossing. So this was a bit of a new insights for us and a new field to be active at. But we really enjoyed it, and I think it worked really nicely.
And was this project unique in that sense for Gas und Warme Institute?
Yeah. I think there are so many different aspects of my work. I do testing of products. I do anything really related to the energy landscape of the future. So be it looking at possible scenarios, doing simulations of different technologies and their interaction. And Cleantech Energy Crossing really brought all these aspects together in one project, and that doesn't happen that often. Usually they are more specialized.
Okay, all right. And Rick, I was curious that did it help attracting students, for example, to work on this product? Because it's kind of storage. It's the future.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question. We are really implementing storage in the education currently. At the HAN we also offer a Master Sustainable Energy. Well, I know it because I'm the coordinator.
How nice.
Yeah, and there we also really focus on storage. We focus also on hydrogen applications. The HAN has a hydrogen lab, and also students work there. But also this topic, storing energy in batteries, is covered. Actually, we already used this specific work and this working package to let students work on problems. So already twice students have analyzed this case. Well, actually, no, they've done so once, and the second group is doing so now. I have to say it correctly.
Okay, but so it really added to the development of the curriculum that you are coordinating or teaching.
Definitely, and what we also have to say is, earlier on I mentioned this software where we really push the limits, and we use this software also quite a lot in education.
And what software is this?
Homer Pro, it's called. It's
okay.
a software modeling package. Well, it's used by a lot of parties. And we use it also a lot in educations, but it's also very good for us to gain more experience, but also to know what it can and cannot do. This software is really nice because it makes you think you can really quickly solve a complex problem, but only if you really dive into it, you also you learn more on what you can and cannot do.
So in that sense, it helped to develop like a critical competence for students.
Yeah. So it also helps us as teachers to be more critical when they do work in this type of software.
Oh, okay.
And to really ask questions that make them think.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to hear. Nando, what I was curious also of the product you mentioned in the beginning, your adsorption and absorption, cooling and heating systems.
Yeah.
What are the next steps you're planning to do?
The next step is natuurlijk when you look at the energy transition. Heat is an important energy source, and when you look at the building environment, we have to develop complete building sets for homes, for buildings, so you can get the system integration more faster, and you get a good system even for a village, 50 or 100
that large
houses. Yeah, that large.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the next step. We have to compare heat sources with our technology and also systems that give off the energy in the buildings, and together you can make a good concept next to the full electric concept. So if you have an environment where heat is important with district heating, for example, when you have district heating, our technology can make it better, and we can make heat and cold, and you can save electricity and the grid. You don't have to expand the grid, the electrical grid.
Yeah, and
so
that's very valuable because it's kind of tight in its.
That's the next step.
Yeah. Okay. And you are looking for partners for that one as well, for the system integration.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have one agreement signed by now with a party who makes heat out of the sun from England. We're also looking for other parties who can make heat and parties who can deliver the energy into the building to make the total concept.
Okay.
Heat storage also, parties who have heat storage, big or small. With that combined, you can make the packages for a house or even a village. So
you're actually ready to go.
Yeah.
Looking for partners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ben, I was curious, if you look at all these products, what would the next step be to further get them ready to market? Because not all of them are already at the market, a lot of them are. What would, in your opinion, be the next step?
Well, I guess the best step would be Cleantech Energy Crossing 2. Yeah, I think we've already gone a long way by improving many of the products, getting them closer to market readiness. And I think the funding and public awareness provided by this project really helped a lot to get everything ready or close to ready. So I've seen the great work of the people working in this project and their innovative energy. And I think if they are pushing forward to get their ideas out there and just a little more of this, and I think they'll be there, and we'll see their products in the future.
Yeah, with Cleantech Energy Crossing 2.0, you're actually also saying more funding would be necessary or helpful to get them to the next step. Yes,
definitely, because especially if you have a small startup, it's really hard to muster up all the energy and shoulder all the costs that really go into product development, because it's not done with one single idea and you just throw the product out there, because it takes a lot of time and energy and money, of course, to really make it happen.
All right. I see we have a chat question. What innovative product really sticks out in terms of cost effectivity, and would you therefore recommend? I can imagine it's a tough one because there are different products, maybe a fruit basket of products. Ben, you have an idea of what sticks out in this case?
Well, that's really a hard question to answer, because I guess there are so many great products, and it really depends on what you're looking for. Do you look for energy generation? Do you look for energy storage? And I think we got great products in all these different aspects of what you might need for your home to be more self-reliant, more energy efficient, to get your energy cheaper. So it really depends on what you need, and I think there are so many great products within this project, it would be unfair to pick out just one.
It's a hard one to answer. Would you agree?
Yeah, Rick, it's a hard one to answer. Well, I can say a little bit about it. For example, if we talk about storage, then it depends on the business case. If it's really for storing energy for a longer time and just saving on your electricity bill, one could argue that the most important thing is that storage is really, really, really cheap.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it's the other properties of the storage then are a little bit less important if some type of technology is really cheap. And that was, for example, one advantage of well-known lead crystal batteries. They were rather cheap. But it's not the best technology yet, and it's also not suitable for really a business case yet. There are also other applications for storage. For example, you could say, okay, I want storage in a home, for example, to be able to use a smaller converter in my solar electricity system. Yeah. So because typically in a solar system, in a solar energy system, in our home, the peak capacity of the converter is almost never used. So if you would place a small battery in between to just handle those peaks and then later feed the energy to the converter, it would be a whole different way of applying a battery storage. But those could be use cases that are also interesting. And that's something that we started exploring already in this project. Yeah, it's something that I would definitely like to dive deeper into, but yeah.
We need the second project.
Oh, of course.
But just one step back, I would say, I was kind of flapping with my ears when you said that the storage is really, really cheap. Because you hear all around that there's no business case and it's hard to start.
No. I said that.
Or maybe I didn't understand.
Sorry. I said that storage would need to be really, really, really cheap.
Oh, okay. It has to be.
Sorry, I spoke a little bit quickly, I think. No, it needs to be. So if you are just using it to store electrical energy and later retrieve it, it needs to be 5-10 times more cheaper than it is now.
Okay. Yeah.
And we are not there yet, and also we won't be there yet. Like in 5 years, this will be a process that takes some time.
That would be your estimation.
Yeah. But for example, there are also different types of energy storage technologies being developed, and some focus on getting a really high energy density, especially when you're talking about cars, or some are focused on getting really good longevity, so that you can just cycle and recycle those batteries for a very long time, so have a very good lifetime. But some focus on just using really common materials that can be provided and manufactured cheaply. And I think that if we get to those types of technology, those can be promising, but they're not there yet.
They're not there yet. Okay. I see we have one more chat question. It's kind of a long one, but I'll do my best. I'm interested in an all-electric solution for a home or public building, which can operate off-grid or exporting at peak consumption hours with PV, battery storage, and RFC, reverse acting fuel, which can act as electrolyzer in the summer. Is the RBC produced yet?
Ooh. I don't know that one.
Depending on your reaction?
I
could
don't know.
perhaps answer this?
I don't know. Well,
what is RFC for?
Reversible fuel cell. So that means that one device can act both as an electrolyzer and a fuel cell. And this is, of course, a very interesting proposition, because typically you want to produce hydrogen when you have an excess of electricity, and you want to consume hydrogen when you have a shortage. But to do it now, you need two devices, an electrolyzer and a fuel cell. So you also have a twofold investment. So if one would be able to combine those two devices, you just need one. I haven't heard about devices that like that recently. But actually it made me curious, so I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Regarding the other parts of the question, especially about the off-grid character of a house, that's like a typical assignment that we like to give our students and to think about it. Because if you really want to get off-grid, you need to make sure that your electricity consumption or your energy consumption, especially in winter, is really, really, really low. Getting off-grid is not difficult if you're in a, for example, if you're in a sunny country, if you're on a sunny island, or somewhere where you have sun or maybe other renewable energy sources all year round. But the difficult part, if you want to get off-grid in places where we are here, is that you have this winter where you have much less sun. And if one would have to say, okay, I want to cover my needs all year round with storage in a typical house or a energy efficient house, that would be really difficult because of the amount of energy that you need in winter.
The seasonal storage.
Exactly. So seasonal storage is something that's, sometimes I joke a little bit. I say, okay, if you want seasonal storage, you need a storage that is as big as the house next to it.
But it's a bit of the holy grail.
Yes, but one of the other pathways towards this is really, really, really isolating a house well. But you need to have walls like this, I think, because you really need to bring down this heating consumption. And if you do so sufficiently, then you get close to the concept of getting off-grid. But then to add a little bit to the off-grid story, why is this such a big wish? Because we actually have the advantage of being easily connected to a grid. I mean, getting off-grid is something that you want to do if you want a log cabin in the back of a forest. And that's possible, I think, because then you're also not talking about a typical home. You're talking about a special purpose. You're not using it as a typical home. You probably won't have a dishwasher and comfortable appliances like that there. So you have a whole different energy profile. And if you have something like that, okay, then probably it is possible. Yeah,
in short, a more isolated situation.
More isolated situation where you would really have to, if we talk about a climate like we have here, you would really have to you have to isolate the building extremely well. That's the important stuff. And then you can go and look at storage.
Look at the next step.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Can I say something about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have time for one last remark.
We also have a project, and in this project we have a solar energy system that can make heat out of the radiation, not the sun but the radiation. And with a temperature of -11, it makes water from 54 degrees. So with 54 degrees water temperature, you can heat a building, even in winter.
True.
Even in winter. And in our thermal-driven heat pump, we have several functions. And one of the functions is we can, with a water heat pump, we can make from 1 kilowatt out of the sun, 1.5 kilowatt into the building. And when the temperature of the hot water goes lower. Under the 50 degrees with -11, we have direct heating. So the energy out of the sun, the radiation goes directly to the building, and you have a backup for some days a year, and you can heat the building even in winter. And you don't need all the electricity out of the net, out of the grid.
It's direct consumption.
It's direct consumption.
All right, thanks for this addition, Nando. Then we come to the end of the first part. We don't say goodbye to our guests yet, because we'll see them at the end at our toast moment. Now we're going to look at a movie that's been made on one of the products, a sea salt battery of Dr. Ten. That's being implemented in the community of Aardenhuizen in Aalst, together with the parties that were involved there. Wat we als Kiemt doen, is het versnellen van energietransitie en van circulaire economie. Door innovaties aan te jagen, initiatieven op te starten, partijen bij elkaar te brengen. En als je kijkt naar die energietransitie, is opslag heel erg belangrijk. En daarom hebben we een paar jaar geleden gezegd, oké, willen we een project organiseren om die opslag een stap verder te brengen.
Bij Dr. Ten hebben we een batterij ontwikkeld die is gemaakt van ruim verradige, duurzame materialen, te weten koolstoffen en zouten. En daarnaast is hij volledig recyclebaar. In 2016 zijn we in contact gekomen met Kiemt en de organisatie Cleantech Energy Crossing. Toen zijn we met een aantal ondernemers gaan kijken hoe kunnen we komen tot een nieuw project. Waarbij je dus een hogeschool/universiteit betrokken hebt, een aantal kleinere partijen in de R&D met veelbelovende producten. En in Aardenhuizen eigenlijk een soort duurzame woongemeenschap waar een batterij geïntegreerd, geïnstalleerd en geassembleerd om te kijken of we netstroom en zonnestroom kunnen stabiliseren.
Wij wonen hier met 23 gezinnen. Iedereen heeft een zonnepanelen op zijn dak en in de zomer hebben we een flink overschot aan elektriciteit. Dat wordt aan het buitennet geleverd. Maar we willen heel erg graag dat we steeds autonomer worden met onze wijk. En dat betekent dus dat je dat overschot wilt opgeslaan in de batterij die we nu net hebben geplaatst. Voor ons in de Aardenhuizen is het heel erg belangrijk dat het ook milieuvriendelijk materiaal is. Nou, het is zeezout, hè.
Als je een zeezoutbatterij vergelijkt met meer traditionele batterijen. Traditionele batterijen, loodzuur bijvoorbeeld en lithium, die kunnen niet volledig leeggeladen worden. Daarnaast is het zo in de bebouwde omgeving waar we testen doen, weten we ook dat je geen risico loopt dat de batterij in de brand vliegt, want dat is niet mogelijk.
Het project is natuurlijk bij uitstek een heel mooi voorbeeld van samenwerking. Waarbij je ziet dat kennisinstellingen als Saxion, maar ook technologieleveranciers Dr. Ten, die een batterijopslagsysteem doorontwikkelen, dat ook weer ondersteund wordt door GPX. Samen kijken hoe ze een woongemeenschap zoals hier zo efficiënt mogelijk kunnen laten functioneren op energiegebied.
Ik ben lector duurzame energievoorziening bij Saxion. Wij hebben onderzocht met name de systeemintegratie, aspecten van duurzame energie. Studenten hebben hier systeempjes ontwikkeld en die zijn geplaatst bij bewoners om elektriciteitsprofielen te meten en ook het opwekprofiel van de zonnepanelen. Nou, die informatie hebben ze verwerkt in een database en vanuit die database zijn er simulaties geweest om de momenten waarop je slim kan sturen te leren.
Ik ben een partner in het bedrijf GPX uit Arnhem. Wij meten en we maken zichtbaar. Je hebt gezien hoe de bewoners hier eigenlijk voorlopers zijn naar een nieuwe samenleving. Ze hebben allemaal al zonne-energie en een grote zeezoutbatterij. Maar het is belangrijk om dan ook te kunnen weten hoeveel daarin gegaan is en wiens aandeel daarin gegaan is. Zodat mensen dat ook op een eerlijke manier gewoon weer terug kunnen krijgen. En met name dat wanneer die dat krijgt, dat is mooi. En dat is dus de mooie kans die we in dit Kiemt-project hebben gekregen.
Voor ons Aardenhuizen is het echt belangrijk omdat we een groep mensen willen zijn die een voorschot neemt op de energietransitie. En dit zit een beetje in de aard van de Aardenhuizen hier. En dat betekent ook dat je wil gaan experimenteren met een batterij.
Vanaf 2023 wordt de salderingsregeling afgebouwd. En met alleen lithiumbatterijen red je het niet om de transitie verder vorm te geven. En daarom is het ook belangrijk dat tegen die tijd het productieproces wat Dr. Ten aan het maken is, dat dan ook gereed is.
Welcome back at the Cleantech Energy Crossing show with two new guests at our table. Piet Boomsma, coordinator of the Interreg program, regional manager of the Euregio Rijn-Waal, and Michael Bouwman, director of the Energy Agentur Noordrijn-Westfalen. Piet, if I may start with you, can you tell us about the role you played in this specific project as being coordinator for Interreg?
Before I start with my role in the project, I want to compliment Kiemt and the Energy Agentur with the success of this project. This project that has gone through all the phases that all projects have gone through, and that's what my role has come in. I have informed the project about possibilities of the Interreg program, then assisted during the application procedure, assisted with finding entrepreneurs interested in the project. I guided you through the execution and the problems maybe you had during the project. During this whole period, I informed the program partners of the Interreg program about the progress of the project.
Oh, thanks for the compliment here, and of course also to Energy Agentur. And just out of curiosity, what was the most fun for you? You see all these different phases.
Yeah, all the phases have interesting points, but of course, seeing the developments and then that the products are becoming a success is the most interesting part. Seeing the working together of organizations both from Germany and from the Netherlands, and sometimes that they don't understand each other or face cultural problems, but at the end they make good products, and that's the essence of the project.
Okay. Michael, I'm curious, what is the focus of Energy Agentur Noordrijn-Westfalen? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, first I would like to thank Piet for the compliment. As Energy Agency North Rhine-Westphalia, we work on behalf of the government of North Rhine-Westphalia, and we have 4 tasks. The first is we organize networks for companies and research institutes in several energy topics. So for instance, renewable energies, photovoltaics, wind energy, power plant technologies, fuel cells, hydrogen. And the target of these networks is to initiate innovative projects. The second task is we are offering energy consultancy. It's an initial consultancy for free for small and medium-sized companies and municipalities. And the third task is we organize marketing campaigns for technologies which are close to the market introductions. For instance, heat pumps or wood pellet heating or CHP, combined heat and power, or photovoltaics. And the fourth task is we do a lot of public relation. Have a look at our internet site, and we publish newsletters. And our target groups are companies mainly, and municipalities and research institutes. And we also have a department for international cooperation, and one of our main partner countries is the Netherlands.
Okay, it was quite a broad role. And how does Energy Agentur connect to Cleantech Energy Crossing?
Yeah, in 2014, the Energy Agency and the Kiemt Foundation created a study on the topic of cross-border cooperation in the energy transition. And as a result of this study, an intense collaboration was agreed. And this gave rise to the idea of carrying out a joint Interreg project. And the Cleantech Energy Crossing project, the CEC, was born. The funding applications were submitted, and for this purpose, topics and products were worked out in the context of open space events with our networks partners from North Rhine-Westphalia and the Dutch partners, which are to be further developed in this project. And we are also able, as energy agency, to search for a partner. So we were able to inspire many companies and startups for this project.
Okay, so it really originated from 2014. Piet, what is the importance of Interreg as a program in facilitating this project?
The origin of the idea of Interreg programs, because there's not one Interreg program, but all over Europe there are Interreg programs, is that when people know each other from different countries, when the economy becomes more interdependent, the chance that there will be a third world war in our region becomes very small. And this idea has been a success. At least we haven't had any war here in Europe since 45. But also when you forget about the war and just look at the time now, you see how important these subsidy programs are, because even when the distance between Düsseldorf and Berlin is twice as much as the distance between Düsseldorf and Amsterdam or The Hague, and it takes more than two times as long as to come there, you see that still people from Kleve look at Berlin, and people from entrepreneurs from Doetinchem look only to the west. And with the subsidy of Interreg, they are triggered to look to colleagues just 20 kilometers on the other side in another country.
It helps to tackle the cultural barrier.
It helps to tackle the hindrance of the border.
Yeah. And curious, you mentioned the war, and in that sense that a lot of people also compare the energy transition as that we have to rebuild our built environment like we had to after the war. So there's also an actual link there.
The importance of this energy transition we are in at the moment, and will be in until 2050, is so big that the fact that we had a Cleantech Energy Crossing project of 4 years, and Ben Wortman said we need a Cleantech Energy Crossing 2. It's too less. We need to have a structural cooperation between the Netherlands and North Rhine-Westphalia to tackle the problems we are facing, to find better ways to store energy, because the possibilities to generate sustainable energy, they become better and better. But the problem is storage. And at the moment we see that in this project we saw four storage sub-projects, the development of 4 battery systems, and actually there are not so many more of these projects in the Netherlands, or there are not so many more of these projects in North Rhine-Westphalia. Since 2014, when you started the discussion to cooperate, the MATE Institute in Münster has started, and there is a lot of knowledge about storage. But knowledge is not enough.
It's
we
one
have
thing,
to find the products to make the energy transition work in reality.
So as far as you're concerned, this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning, but it has to be structural. It can't be just projects. It has to be a structural cooperation, programmatic on energy generation, on energy storage, on hydrogen, three major topics. I think that are the most important topics. Probably there are a lot more to consider, but in my opinion, these are the three main topics for the structural cooperation that I foresee for Kiemt and the Energieagentur.
And looking back now, the 4 years of Cleantech Energy Crossing, what's in your view, because you've been closely involved, an exquisite or a nice example of cooperation, the focus of this project?
Yeah, there are so many nice cooperations within the program. I remember the first time all people. All entrepreneurs, all knowledge institutions came together, and this still is in my mind, because I saw there the development of connection, of making ideas. There were new cooperations formed during this event, and this is how it should be. So that, for me, it's not a typical product developed, but the complete cooperation between all parties within the project.
Yes, I could also remember that we had some of the, in my view, best project managers I could imagine, and it was still hard to keep the meetings at the 2-hour level. Always exceeded another hour. Any problems? No problem. That's interesting. You were saying that we built the cooperation as we went along.
Yeah,
that's maybe also what you're saying.
But a 2-hour event is typical Dutch. I think in Germany, when it takes a bit longer, then they take the time. And in the Netherlands, 2 hours is 2 hours, and then we have to go to another appointment.
Okay. Michael, I was also curious, in your point of view, what was a nice example of cooperation you saw or witnessed?
Yeah, one example for an interesting cooperation in the CEC is following the company Doetinchem, located in North Rhine-Westphalia, which is a German heat pump manufacturer, and the Netherlands company Solar Energy Booster developed a thermal cooling unit that can be mounted on a PV module and is used as a power and heat source for the operation of heat pumps. We call it PVT module. In addition, this PVT module can also be combined with a low temperature long-term storage unit and is, for instance, installed in the ground. It's a very nice project.
Nice, okay. I see we have a chat question. It sometimes takes quite a while before cooperation takes off. How could you speed that up? Pete, perhaps.
Yeah, I think what I saw during this first event I remembered is a possibility to speed it up just by not having presentations. In this meeting there were entrepreneurs having a pitch, and after the pitch they said, when you know something or when you want to work together with me, be free and visit me. And after this, it were 25-30 entrepreneurs, I think, and during this event that happened. So yeah, speeding it up is, you have to find the right situation, and that may be different for different kind of projects, but for your project it was the perfect way.
But maybe you're saying you have to allow some time to get it started organically.
Yeah, yeah, and then at that point your project was already funded. So all entrepreneurs had a goal during this period, and they found new and extra partners for their projects.
Okay, in that sense. All right. Well, different products have been named. We're going to watch a brief animation, as I introduced. Also, we'll have the different products and the publication that was made for Cleantech Energy Crossing.
The Cleantech Energy Crossing project has come to an end. Makes us wonder, what do we have achieved? What type of products have been developed and which entrepreneurs have joined the Cleantech Energy Crossing project? That is why we created this accessible publication in both Dutch and German, where you can read about developed products and done research in this project. The layout of the publication is based on the content of the project. There are 3 chapters which focus on the 3 work packages: sustainable heating and cooling, batteries at home, and microgrid storage. The first and biggest work package is sustainable heating and cooling. This work package can be even further divided into the following 3 subgroups: solar thermal energy and rooftop innovations, combined heat and power generation, and heating and cooling techniques. Work package 2, batteries at home, is about newly developed battery techniques. And in the last chapter, we move to microgrid storage, where 2 large storage systems were developed. Because the geographic focus of this project lies in the border of North Rhine-Westphalia with the Dutch provinces of Gelderland, Noord-Brabant and Limburg, this Interact program was also supported by these local governments. The publication is also digital available and can be found on the website of Kiemt. Go to our website kiemt.nl and download your Dutch or German Cleantech Energy Crossing publication now.
Welcome back at the Cleantech Energy Crossing show. Michael, I'm curious, you saw this palette of products, innovations as a result of Cleantech Energy Crossing. What further developments or steps would you take as Energy Agentur to bring these results further?
New partnerships have been concluded between companies from North Rhine-Westphalia and Netherlands, and the cooperation is, from my point of view, on a very high level and productive level. Often new products were developed and brought to market maturity. Prototypes could be tested and optimized in real environments, and the products are prepared for market launch. Our network partners found the cooperation very constructive, and further collaborations have long since developed. The Energy Agency North Rhine-Westphalia has precisely this task, to look for suitable partners from our networks, and we are therefore pleased to have made a contribution to this project.
And I can imagine, as Cleantech Energy Crossing 2.0 is mentioned, we can count on Energy Agentur to join and to fortify a next project.
Yes, of course.
Okay. And Pete, I was curious, what would the next step be in your opinion?
Yeah, I hope you will start a lot of new projects, because at the end of this year our new program will start. This program is about innovation and about green. So actually the 2 main topics for the European Union as well. You see that the European Green Deal that has been agreed on last year is in all European programs. You can find this European Green Deal back. And of course also in the Interact program. We are asking for new products, so innovative products. That's part of our new program. But we are also looking for green transitions, so for the application of transition projects.
In the process industry, for example?
For example, in the process industry, but it may be in, between governments or within a factory, or you can imagine every type of project that reduces the CO2 emission, that's the word I was looking for, and the circularity of using products,
raw materials
that are reused, or products that are reused for other products.
Facilitating the circular economy, I guess. And is there already a date set when
the exact
you can apply?
Date is not there yet when the program opens, but it will be at the end of this year or at latest at the start of next year. During this period until the end of this year, you are welcome to come to me and talk with me about what kind of projects you have in mind, so that we can prepare already and you can start directly when the program starts.
So it's actually a call to action.
A call to action.
To
everybody.
To everybody.
To everybody.
Come with ideas. Come with ideas and apply to what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay, and hopefully we have a lot of new projects like the one we've been discussing now. This makes us come to the end of the Cleantech Energy Crossing show. As we said, it's a bit of celebration after 4 years. So we're going to have a toast, I believe. Well, I'll grab a banana instead. Rick, welcome. Nando. A toast, I would say, may all the products and innovations of Cleantech Energy Crossing have its impact on our climate's ambition and help us in the cooperation in realizing a sustainable future. Cheers.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
You at home, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you back at the next event. If there are questions, you can check our website. Bye-bye for now.